There's an introduction that being that you're slightly shy might make you a little uncomfortable.
Great. I'll look at my fist.
That you. Here we go.
Extraordinaires. Now's the time to share. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Extraordinaires. We're all extraordinaires.
Hello again, extraordinaires. Welcome to another Extraordinary Alien podcast with Terasa Livingstone. I am Terasa Livingstone. Thank you so much for showing up. I love you for doing so. Extraordinary. When you Google the word, the Cambridge English Dictionary describes the word as very unusual and special, different in type and greater in degree than the usual or the ordinary. And then right beside that description of the word extraordinary, there's a little photo, and it's of this lovely young woman who's sitting right across the table from me. She's today's extraordinary guest. Extraordinary guest. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have her on the show, and so I won't. Allow me instead to introduce her to you a little so that we can get all that resume bullshit out of the way, and then she and I can just sit and we can talk and you can fall in love with her. Sound good? May I just start by saying that if it were possible and if I could, let's say, buy myself a fake acting resume, to get into showbiz, much like I used to buy a fake ID so I could get myself into City Rowers nightclub in Brisbane, what?
Nice.
Then the resume I would order would be hers. It tells of a well-rounded acting career, succeeding immediately across all acting modalities: television, feature films, theatre, highbrow drama, situation comedy, stunts even lately. Her resume is also backed with a bunch of award nominations, international success, and peer recognition. On paper, it proves that today's guest is nothing short of extraordinary. This special woman went to NIDA, National Institute of Dramatic Art in Sydney, to study musical theatre.
Just for 1 year.
Love it. Still,
so
more
many-
years than me.
So many journos say that I'm NIDA trained. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, sure.
just live with
Open
it.
program. Yeah, sure.
Because then she graduated from the Actors Centre in 2011.
Correct.
Now this means, 2011, that between now and then, which is just a mere 8 years, all of this happened. Her very first professional job. Are you wringing your hands right now?
No, sorry.
Yes.
I just don't want you to work out that I didn't pay for it. Like don't read it out. It's okay.
I've got to read it so everyone knows how extraordinary you are.
Okay, fine.
So they know why the hell we're listening to us talk.
Okay.
Her very first professional job is with the highly esteemed Sydney Theatre Company in a tiny little obscure play called Pygmalion. Mm-hmm. 2 years after graduating, she's on Broadway, like the Broadway, on Broadway, performing Peter Pan, playing the role of Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell. At the Victory Theatre in New York City, for Pete's sake. Well, it's probably Peter Pan's sake, really.
Oh, nice.
Shit joke.
Did you see what she did?
There's so many more to come. In her homeland of Australia, she's worked on a dozen or maybe even more TV comedies and dramas. Big hit shows like Janet King, Rake, No Activity, The Other Guy, just a few to name. And then she played this cracking role of Patricia in the not-so-little show Love Child. There you go. I just gave it away to every single Australian audience listening. They're like, oh, I know who it is.
Good.
This role won her more than a few nominations of Logie Awards of Actor, that's the Australian Cinema and Television Award, for Most Outstanding Supporting Actress and Most Popular New Talent. So clearly, straight out the gate, she's got the goods. Her professional stage career has been far from shabby too. She's been nominated twice for the coveted Sydney Theatre Award for Best Actress in two separate main stage leading roles, one of which she won, crowd goes wild,
Yeah.
when she played a young woman, aka that murderous Ruth Snyder, in Sophie Treadwell's classic play Machinal. Also for the Sydney Theatre Company. Now, her feature films have also opened the Sydney Film Festival and screened at the much celebrated Sundance Film Festival. Never heard of it? Yes, you have. Everybody has. Such great honours for an actor. Now, just to really bring this home, her most recent air-punching moments have been to create the fascinating lead role of Cassie Bedford in the NBC show The In-Between, which is really good. And she plays Elizabeth Moss's sister. In Lee Winnell's upcoming masterpiece, the horrified 2020 remake of The Invisible Man for Universal Studios. I mean, how about that resume? Just drop all your mics. Just drop them all.
Good Lord.
Good Lord. She's embarrassed. She's red. Like I said, on paper, this proves that today's guest is nothing short of extraordinary. But to meet her, or to get to know her in person, as I have just begun to have the pleasure to do, then you very quickly come to understand just how effortlessly she exemplifies the true meaning of the word. She's one of the most beautiful, unassuming, kind, funny, gentle, generous, and totally laid-back women you'll ever meet. I think she's extraordinary. Fairly certain you will too. Please make very welcome Australia's own Harriet Dyer.
Thank you. That was quite the intro.
But can you sing?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a bit of that.
damn it. I mean, I'm like, now what? I was going to say, get out. You can do everything. Lovely. Have you ever done a musical theatre then? Have you been the lead singer too?
Have I done music theatre? I did a lot of it growing up. We grew up in Townsville, and there was
Townsville. Hello.
And I grew up doing lots of musicals, and then I've never done anything professionally in the music theatre world, but I'd really, 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 really like to. It's just a matter of, the shows that we go to see.
Yeah.
It's such a commitment. People sign 2-3 years of their lives away for this. So the kind of perfect idea would be like a Sydney Theatre Company or like a Belvoir did a 6-week run of something, and then that would be, the best thing for me right now. But until then, it's a lot of shower singing, and I know I sing it kind of everywhere.
What are you, big Broadway like show tune kind of singing?
Yeah, I try. I mean, I do a bit of everything, but I grew up thinking I might do that.
Musical theatre or singing?
Well,
both?
no, music. Well, actually, my backup plan was to do jazz at UQ in Brisbane. I was going to do a Bachelor of Jazz performance, but my theory wasn't good enough.
What do you mean?
Well, you have to do this very intense theory test, written test about, quavers and,
music,
keys and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they were really happy with the audition I did where I sung and whatever, but they said you have to do 6 months of kind of theory. And I kept looking at all these little moments like, well, that's a roadblock. I want it enough
to do it.
And so, but I thought it was kind of a safer option than going to do music theatre or acting, because I've got an auntie who's a jazz singer. So I grew up kind of watching that actually be able to pay for things. So I thought, and then when the theory thing came up, I thought, well, no, I'll let it go. And then I went on to audition for this NIDA short course. Well, it was a 1-year thing called Singer, Dancer, Actor.
So you got commitment issues. You can't do longer than 6 months already.
Well, I kind of just thought, do I want it enough? You know? Yeah. Like, if I don't want to do 6 months of theory, then it's not my passion.
No.
Like, if I had to do 6 months of acting theory, though, I don't think it would be a problem.
Yeah.
So I think that was a sign.
By now.
Yeah. Yep.
So no other actors in your family, but definitely singers.
No actors, but music. Music is quite coming down my dad's line. There's a lot of music. A lot of my auntie's a professional singer. She's married to a bass player. My dad plays in bands in Townsville. Actually, I think they're number 1 and 2 on the Triple J Unearthed Roots charts right now. My dad's band.
What's your dad's band called? What is it?
Give him a shout out.
Astronaut Launch Party.
No way.
ALP. Yeah. They're pretty cute.
Launch Party?
Dad plays the bass. Yeah.
And does he sing too?
Oh, yeah, he does a bit of harmony, but there's a front man.
Okay.
That's his bit.
Gosh, he sounds
but
like
they're
an
doing
extraordinary
great.
alien.
Yeah, he's pretty fun. Yeah, so there's been a lot of music and creativity, and we grew up doing singing, dancing and acting and playing piano, and so we were never short of creativity and mess in the household.
Love mess.
Yeah, so I kind of come from stock that gets it, but it's not fully
Yeah.
entrenched. I mean, it'd be very hard to be actors in Townsville. Although my dad's done lots of plays. My mum isn't an actor, but she's just a highly theatrical person.
Great.
Townsville players.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's Theatre Inc. INQ. 'cause
What?
It's theatre in
Fancy.
North Queensland. They're really amazing. They do. I just made fun of the name, but I didn't mean to. They're absolutely incredible. And
It is spelled INQ.
yeah, it's good. It's smart. But they have a couple of kind of troupes up there as well. There's two kind of dueling musical theatre companies, which are quite fun. But it really has a great breeding ground there for talent. There's a lot of kids that are kind of in Whopper and Nightingale that are from Townsville, because it kind of, people think it's maybe a bit backward in terms of culturally, because you never hear about it. But
Yeah.
but there's a really alive and thriving theatre scene there. Like I do these musicals with these companies and you don't get paid anything. It's all just for fun, and you're 15 and you're loving it. But
Yeah.
it seats, the Townsville Civic Theatre seats like 850 people, and it's full
Wow.
for 2 weeks. And
Wow.
that's where you learn your stuff
Oh my
in
gosh.
front of real paying audiences.
This is not schools. This is
No.
a separate program completely.
Yeah, it's just a community theatre,
Wow.
but they just do it really well up there. Mm-hmm.
Gosh, you got good genes then. You got good stock.
I guess so. I remember I saw my dad, he was doing like a box step in the chorus of Oklahoma when I was about 7 or maybe younger. And I just was entranced
By a box step.
by this, like, my dad in like a flannelette shirt going, yeehaw, and doing a box step with all these other kind of, I don't know, chemistry teachers and
Excellent.
pathologists just putting their effort into something that's just not their family, it's not their job. That kind of just blew my mind that
Yeah, right.
people do that with such commitment for fun. But also it's mostly for the adults, I found. Like, there wasn't many kid roles. They're really just doing it for themselves. I mean, they put Annie on, though.
Not doing it for the kids.
No, it's just for them. But they started putting on shows, every year there'd be
Did you
one
say
for
Annie?
kids. Yeah. Well, this is what
Who's
got us
playing
started.
Annie?
My sister played Annie,
Okay.
and I played Molly, her little sidekick. And that was, I remember auditions were coming up and Dad was going for something as per usual.
Oh
It
my
sounds
God,
like he's
I
got a
love
second
them.
family or something. He doesn't. He just loves musicals and stuff. But he kind of sat me and my sister down before the auditions. I was 6 and my sister was 8. He said, now don't get your hopes up. There are a lot of kids in this town, a lot of talented little girls, and I just don't want you to be disappointed. And we were like, okay, thanks, Dad. Yep, good pep talk. And then we got the 2 like big roles.
Fantastic. What a coup.
It was pretty amazing. And I'll never forget watching my sister just
Kill it.
kill it. She killed it.
Oh my gosh. And what's your relationship like now?
Great.
Does she still act? Does she still do theatre?
She does some acting. I think her sights are mostly set on writing and directing right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a bunch of funding in Australia, and she's currently about to start shooting something called Blood Sisters, which sounds incredibly exciting. And she's got lots of funding in Australia and lots of people that are kind of backing her. But I think you put yourself... Some people put themselves right in the right place at the right time, and some people have to work out where that is,
Right.
I don't know if it's luck, but she's worked really, really hard, and it's just kind of coming together now.
Right.
So whenever it happens for her, it'll happen and it'll be brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what she does.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
But yeah, she's going to shoot something soon.
So let's talk about that in regards to you then. Because from an outsider's point of view, I mean, it does seem like your trajectory has been, just like 1 step, 2 step. Do you feel like it's been that kind of fluid for you? Like you've been in the right place at the right time? Obviously, there's a bit of luck, but you're exceptionally talented. But do you feel like it's just been very organic, or have you really schemed your way into how to make it turn out like this?
It's an interesting question. I certainly don't hold on to anything too tightly, like whether it be an audition or whether something will be picked up. It's the most zen part of my existence is actually my career in a way.
Good God.
Right? I worry about everything else. Every time my boyfriend calls, I think he's calling to say something bad. Like, you know, it's just, I think, why is he calling? Every time my mum called the other day, I was like, oh, great, someone's dead. Like, I'm a warrior. Massive. W-O. Not W-A. Maybe that'll come. But,
yeah.
But in terms of the jobs, and I kind of just, my grandma said to me when I was really young, and it wasn't even about acting, but she said, what is for you won't go past you.
Yeah.
And it's like that tattooed on my brain.
Right.
Because you can say that stuff to yourself and really try and believe it, like
Sure.
fate, whatever. But she must have said it at just the right
Like
time.
a cellular transformation.
It was
in
pretty
there.
brilliant. And so I honestly, I rarely shed a tear if something doesn't happen or if it doesn't work out. I've just been letting it trip out. But I also believe in people, and I believe that you need a certain amount of people in your life that you come across and that meet you that have to believe in you.
Yep.
Because you can't do it alone. We can't do it. We're not islands. It's whether it's your reps or a drama teacher or a casting director. That you have to remember that it is a personal industry that we work in, and if you can make people believe in you, I think that goes a long way.
It's hard to make people believe in you. That's just something
That's true, actually. You can't go, hello, believe in me.
Yeah. Please.
Please. Yeah, that's true. You can't. I don't know. I
But
struggle.
you've had that.
I think so. Like, I noticed it when I did Actors Center. I did this 2.5-year course, and there was this particular Russian play that we were doing that came up, and this particular director, Joseph.
I thought you said ration play. I was like,
Ration
geez,
play.
that sounds like a trudge.
No, Russian play. It was a Gorky.
Also a trudge.
Yeah.
Duh.
This was a Gorky play, and this lovely guy who worked with us a lot called Joseph Ushatel put me in the big main role, right?
Uh-huh.
And that made a lot of kind of classmates a bit snippy. And it was this matriarchal role. Like, I played some 65-year-old woman, but I kind of thought, how is this going to happen? And why did he give it to me? And it was that moment I remember that I stood up into some sort of power in my class, in my own power, you know, and people came to that show, and that was like the first moment that it was like, oh, that's a grad that's coming out in a year, keep an eye on her. And then I signed with my agent Trent at RGM, and he, you know, believed in me. Like, there's just these moments in time where I think people see you and believe in you, and without them you can't have a flowy career.
No.
I don't think
That was the first time you knew or felt that you might have been good.
I think I knew it was like a secret I had. I'm like,
Secret's out, babes.
I was kind of like, I think I'm okay at this.
That's great.
But I never wanted to say it out loud.
Sure.
Like, I remember my first...
Sorry, there's flies in here.
It's okay.
Why
It's-
there's
it's like
a
town
fly
flies.
in the studio. It's super
No,
weird.
it's good. We should have like hats with corks on them.
He said that to Sarah Spillane. She's like, so much Australiana around here. Like,
It's great.
you bought the flies. Like, great.
No, I like it. It was good.
So Australian.
The first Friday of my first year at Actors Center, we were all going out for a drink afterwards.
Yeah.
And I followed this girl up the stairs at the Shakespeare Hotel in Surrey Hills.
Oh.
People know it. And she said something like, oh, I'm going to remember this week forever, and I'm going to remember it or something and mention it in my Oscars speech. And I was following her up this very small staircase, and I tripped and fell. Like,
You were like,
I was so, it's not that she wasn't talented, it's that this huge vocal belief in herself just completely floored me, because it's something I just would never have thought to say. I would never say now. It's just been my way to just hold on to my hopes, like a really, really private thing, right?
it's crazy because the law of attraction, like loud statements are encouraged, you know. It's like you work on a different set of laws, almost
Yeah.
like you're destined in some way.
Well, I don't know what it is. I mean, some people, they kind of manifest things or what have you. And I think I quietly hope for things, but
Yeah.
I've had to learn to start saying what I think I want to do. I've had to
Yes.
learn to start owning self-worth and
We had this conversation once. And I saw how uncomfortable it made you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's just a North Queensland woman. You're not supposed to.
I'm North Queensland.
Right? You're just not supposed to stick out, though.
It might be an Australian thing because I felt like that.
It is very Australian.
Yeah, it is.
It is, and it was a rude shock moving here and
Yes.
realizing that largely meetings are just saying how good you are.
Right.
God, that was like stressful. It just was stressful. Getting into your car or the Uber afterwards, feel like you need a shower because you just told someone that you were awesome for
all
40
the tickets
minutes.
are flying out the door.
Yeah, and so it's been something that you're learning. I think everyone needs to find a balance between, but I don't know, a healthy sense of what you want to do, but without boring people about it.
It's a good point.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of flowed nicely. I do think I don't know. I don't know what's next.
Stay
but I'm
where you
not
are.
worried.
It's a good swim you're in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no flow, no go.
Great. Tattoo that.
Yeah. Come on, Grandma. Put it on my head.
So let's talk about that because I find it really fascinating. The amount of, Australians, but from other countries too, but Australians, because we know how many have come to pilot season in America and come to pilot season in America and come to pilot season. Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing's ever happened.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm annoying to those people.
I mean, I'm also
Annoying
including
to me.
myself, and you
Very
are
annoying.
so annoying.
I know. It's annoying.
She comes for one pilot season and lands the lead in an NBC show. I mean,
just
what
annoying.
the actual fuck?
I know. I told someone that, and they went, "No, that doesn't happen." I
It
said,
doesn't happen.
"Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I used to think that about Jessica Murray. Like she came over once and got that Magic City thing. And
Yeah.
I thought, oh, well, thanks, Jess.
Great.
Annoying. No, I'm annoying.
No,
but
you're not. So then what happens? You book it, and just for it, because if someone's at home, right, some young Australian girl who's just like you in Townsville, down there watching your dad at the bloody Harri play with his band, like, and they're dreaming and looking at you going, she's so fucking annoying because she booked a role. Like, what happens then? Like when you land that, what can people expect? Like, what's the American machine like, especially compared to Australia? It must be quite.
Yeah, I honestly think I was very nervous. I
In your audition or after?
all
Everything.
the whole time.
Across the
I
board.
mean, we shot the pilot in March, as you do.
Yeah.
And we didn't start shooting the series until October. So there was this kind of 6 months where I knew I had this big thing coming, but I didn't have anything to do. And you'd think that I would kind of mentally or physically or whatever prepare in that time, but I seem to have, I don't know, always did it.
Because you didn't know if it was going to be picked up or not.
No, I did. At
You
that point,
did?
they were writing
What,
it.
immediately?
Oh, no, we knew in May.
Okay. That's quick.
Yeah. So May, but there was still 5 months there
That's fair.
that I could have, I don't know, lost 6 kilos, perfected the accent, but I just kind of went, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just going to wait. Like I just waited. And then I went, fuck, it's October 1st. Fuck. I should have got a facial.
Yeah,
I should have sorted some of this bullshit out.
Oh my God.
But I didn't. Anyway, and the whole time we shot that pilot, and then again, it dissipated a little once we were shooting the series. But
What did?
this feeling, I'm coming to it.
Gotcha.
But in March especially, every time the phone rang, I was like, great, I'm fired.
Oh, yeah.
They made this huge mistake. So I have this really hefty imposter syndrome.
Yep.
Hefty. But they didn't fire me. And then come like December, I realized that I was doing a good job and that people valued me, and I started to relax. But in terms of the job itself, I think it was a great thing to do. I don't think it's going again.
You don't?
No, more option wasn't picked up. I can't officially say it got cancelled because they haven't cancelled it. But,
Right.
I could move to Romania and shave my head right
The
now.
ratings weren't good though?
They were good. They just, it was that classic thing where they changed hands upstairs.
That's right, they did too.
It happens, right?
Bugger. That's what happened to Will's show too on ABC.
Yes. That's
Same
right.
time, same thing.
Yeah, like
Damn it.
the dude that used to run NBC, Bob Greenblatt, just loved the Harriet,
Yeah.
loved the show. And then these other two guys came in, which I'm sure they're great at their job, but they didn't really care.
They had their own shows. They
Yeah,
loved
they had other
Stephanie.
babies. Yeah, they loved Stephanie.
Yeah, she's on her way.
She's great. Steph's good. We like her. And then so it wasn't that the ratings weren't good or that people didn't like it. Like,
Yeah.
I was overwhelmed when it premiered with
Yeah.
the amount of people that were saying positive things on Twitter.
Yeah.
I was like drinking champagne with my boyfriend and going,
whom we
oh my
love.
God, whom we love. And it was like 3 hours earlier in New York, right?
Yeah.
And so I got on Twitter 3 hours before it was coming. I'm like, oh my God, what are they saying? And it was
Twitter.
all positive.
Oh, thank God.
And I thought, what the fuck is going on here? I thought people got on Twitter to be really mean.
Sure.
But they were really nice. So the ratings were fine. They weren't terrible. But the point is they threw it on like a Wednesday at 10 p.m. and we didn't have any billboard, nothing.
No, I never saw one.
So they kind of like went, hey, baby.
Good luck.
Can you swim?
Yeah.
And threw us in a pool.
And they did.
And
you
we
did.
swam, but they went, well, good job. We're still not.
Oh.
Gonna probably go you.
Well, I like the content a lot.
I think it could have been a really good one for the people that like those shows. Like The Ghost Whisperer and Medium went for 7 seasons.
For sure.
And this was as good as them. It's
Yeah.
just that they didn't you need to be backed by the network, and
course.
unfortunately someone just went, not that one.
Right.
And I get it, and that's fine. But it was interesting. It was good for me in the sense that it told me that I was employable here.
Hell yeah.
But I certainly feel like it took me back a little bit. Like, I suddenly cared about angles,
Right.
you know, and I think I had that imposter thing that I'm talking about. I
Yeah.
never saw myself as the lead in a network show, and there were, you know, stereotypically very, very beautiful kind of coat hangers, and so I think I was.
You've
the
seen
whole
yourself
time,
on screen, though. Have you?
Help.
Hides behind them.
Oh goodness. Well, anyway, I didn't
Moving on. Let's not.
I just think I thought too much about. I don't know if I brought my true authenticity to it. And I think that's probably what got me the role, like, was that I was authentic. And then
Yes.
come shooting, I was a bit like, well, I'm just going to stand like this and be breathy. And I feel like I'm going to do better next time.
See,
I've
I love
decided.
this conversation because I think this is all part of the, you know, the toolkit that we all need to understand. Because there's plenty of times, you know, I say be prepared, because when you're
Yeah.
prepared, be prepared when the opportunity comes. This is all part of that stuff. And it's so hard if you don't know, you don't know. Like, where's someone who's saying you need to understand that when you get thrust into this kind of situation, that there's a whole other slew of stuff that
Yeah.
you never even considered.
And also all of this data that you've collated over 30 years of living, and all the things that, you know, people at school said to you, and all the things that you've heard your mum say, like,
What'd they
that-
say?
I just mean things that make you who you are
Right, yeah.
when you're thrust in a situation that you've never planned to be in.
Right.
It's like, it really shines a light on who am I and what do I think of myself and others.
So if you didn't plan to do it, why come to America?
I just didn't think I would. I just
Just like throw your hat in the ring and
Not
see
as
what
quickly
happens.
as it happened. That might-
Yeah. Or I thought I'd do comedy. Like, I mean, that's what me and my manager would talk. My manager and I were talking about.
Because you're fresh off Stevie and
Fresh
the other
off
guy.
Stevie
It's
and
a
the other
popular
guy.
Australian show on Stan.
But also I like it. And
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, I'll do something.
Yeah.
I'll try and do something in that realm. But as we know, that in pilot season, the drama's cast first.
Yes.
And so just as the comedy auditions were coming out, I took myself out of the market.
Yeah.
Which was, I got to say, that was the best feeling. Not that I got a job, but that I didn't have to audition anymore for
It's
a while.
tough.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'd done 12 auditions that
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
And so I just went, I got a job, but mostly I don't have to do that casting tomorrow.
Right. So in Australia, if people don't know, if you're not an actor and you're not quite sure what the hell goes on with this, in Australia, comparatively speaking, how many auditions would you do in a week?
Oh, 0.2.
Like, I mean, if you're lucky on the high end, you'll be doing one. If you're not, you might get one every 6 months.
Oh my God, yeah.
Here in pilot
Like,
season, you can do you could do 6 in a day.
You,
No one does 6 in a day, guys.
Back in the day, there was
back
an
in the
awful
day,
lot.
they might have. Will.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, like, when I say I did 12 in that week, I think 6 of them were self-tapes. But they're even more fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's
like
horrific.
getting the leaf blowers next door to stop. Those leaf blowers,
Yep.
my God, they're
just super popular here.
They're like the rats of the audio world. They're
Ooh,
just
I like that.
everywhere. And even on like a Sunday.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you can't pick it.
Yeah. And they take like 4 hours out of your life because you got to upload
sure.
them, you got to light them, you got to blah. Like, I would prefer to go in and meet someone, but then you get to choose your fancy nice takes and the ones where you have a good chin.
Exactly right. Yeah, have a bit of directorial
Yeah, you can like
agency.
you can warm yourself up if you look dead, that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This is a very personal note, but I like the content of the show because
Oh,
you've had
ghosty
any
ones.
experiences?
look, I always thought that I was kind of like dead in terms of spiritual energy.
Yep.
I thought, other people feel that yummy stuff. I just feel like I wasn't open to it. My mum and my sister were obsessed with it. You know,
Yeah.
if we were in a shopping centre and there was a tarot card or a palm reader or something, I would stand outside and hold their bags while they went in there and paid $40 to hear that they're actually a dog in a past life or something. And I always loved them for that, but I thought it wasn't my bag. And also, what I'm starting to work out with my therapist is that there's only so much space in a family. And if two people are zealous, are zealots about it, I can't, there's no room. So I'll
That's
hold
true.
it back. Like you bend in shape around the people around you.
Yeah.
And then you got to work out what that means later.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I was emotionally open because they were so open, right? So then I met this lady at an NBC event who had seen the pilot. And she worked for NBC and she came up to me and she said, I just wanted to say you did a great job. And I said, oh, thank you. And she said, because I am a medium and I thought you portrayed us really well.
Oh.
And she said, but I guess you'd met with a couple and you'd done your research. And I said, well, actually, no, because it comes up pretty fast. And also, I'm not really like that as an actor. I'm not really. And also, here's the caveat is that I really wanted to believe in the character. I wanted mediums to be real for the character.
Yeah.
And I was on the fence. And so I was worried that I would pay money to somebody and then be disappointed and feel like they're all charlatans and then have to go to Vancouver and pretend to be someone who is real when I think that they might be charlatans.
Yeah.
So I never met with anyone. And then she said, oh, that's interesting because you did a good job. I said, thank you. And she said, I said, I'm not really open spiritually. I don't feel like I'm very connected. She goes, oh, I disagree.
Uh-huh.
And so stay open. And I said, oh, okay. She goes, no, I'm really feeling a lot from you. So just don't think that you're closed because you're not. And then I asked her some questions about when she first realized she was a medium and how did it kind of demonstrate itself. And she had these amazing answers. And then she said, there's someone here for you. Right? And I kind of came over all funny and I haven't lost many people, you know. And then she said she's really short. She's really little, like 5 foot kind of. She put her hand up there and said about 100 years old. And she's got a doily on her head. And that is my Great Aunt Cessie. Like she was 5'1". She died at 101. And she always used to muck around and put serviettes and doilies and things on her, tissues on her head. And even leading up to her passing, she was still like being silly, in the hospital with like doilies and stuff. And so I just like the world fell over in that moment for me. I went,
first time.
gosh.
And she was with you, Cessie was with you.
Yeah, I that's why I said, why is she here? And she said, she's just really proud of you. Right. And I
can't help it.
I started crying and it's just crazy. Anyway, I said, I've got some of her jewelry and I've got her piano. And when I said I've got her piano in my flat in Sydney, she like kind of convulsed a little and she went, yes, you have her piano. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I better be careful with that piano.
Oh, yes.
Because there's obviously some sort of connection there. And I already loved it. Like that's why I wanted to have it. But
play
that kind
it?
of huh?
Do you play it?
I do. And I found this is the most beautiful thing about that piano. It's like 5th generation in our family. It came over on a boat from Germany. It's
No.
beautiful. And in the seat, in this beautiful kind of wooden seat with the yellow velvet cushion,
Oh, yes.
in the seat was a piece of music she'd written
Come on.
called Katoomba and You. Because she and her husband Keith, my great uncle Keith, used to have this beautiful, I guess, like getaway cottage in Katoomba. And she'd written this just adorably perfect piece of music with full piano accompaniment. I didn't even know she could read or write music. She was just Aunt Cessie. And it was the most beautiful little melody. And I started playing it. And I don't know. I do think I've always been a little connected to her, but I didn't expect her to show up in Universal Studios in
Wow.
2019.
Oh, she's
18.
just looking out for you.
Yeah, it was pretty
She's the one
extraordinary.
with the most performing kind of gene then, right? She's the most close to you, it feels like, in
Well, yeah, it was
creative expression.
It seems that way.
Ah.
And she was kind of my fairy godmother a little bit in Sydney because when I moved to Sydney from Townsville, she was my only relative in Sydney.
Oh.
And so I'd go and have Chinese food with her. But we were also from completely different generations. I mean, she was born in 1914. Like, she was an old lady.
Yeah,
But we used to laugh together.
of course.
And so, yeah, that's the only experience I've ever had. And from that, I felt deeply comforted about the world
Yeah.
and about age and my family being far away and people passing away. I suddenly went, oh, that's okay because look now.
I can't handle it.
Sorry, I've broken you.
Yeah,
I
you
broke
broke me.
Terasa.
Yeah, I ask because we've lived in quite a haunted house. Yeah, and my
This is?
not this one. No,
I'm
this
like,
this yeah. No, but this this house we lived in Queensland in Purga. You know.
Where's Purga?
Yeah, exactly. It's not far from the Amberley Air Force Base in Queensland.
Okay.
Inland from Ipswich.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Purga.
There you go.
Purgatory.
Exactly right.
Gotcha.
Not the first time we called it that.
Copy that.
I tell you. Yeah, and it was a very interesting house. Yeah.
In what way? Like footsteps?
Oh no, small children hiding in cupboards, turning to look at you underneath the house.
Did you see it too well?
No, I've just heard the story a lot.
No, we only met 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Of course. Duh.
But I used to.
This is my brother. We have a lovely marriage.
And I was to watch you as a little kid.
Yeah. Me too. Oh, you did? Of course I did. I always remember that address to send in something to get the loot, like Crow's Nest, New South Wales, 2020, whatever it
Did
was.
I ever write to you?
I never wrote to you.
You didn't? Because I wrote to every single person who ever wrote to me.
Oh, shit. I don't think I wrote to you.
Prided myself on that.
Well, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That would have made thousands of children happy.
Dude, one of my proudest moments was this young man who was in a wheelchair wrote a letter to me and said, I'm thinking basically of committing suicide.
No.
And I wrote back to him, and it was
This is on Agros, right?
This is on Agro's Cartoon Connection, a kids show in Australia that I hosted with a puppet for many years.
A very aggressive puppet.
Very aggressive puppet, yes. This young boy wrote to me and sent a photo and whatnot, and I wish that I could remember his name. I should, because it would make the story so much better, because it really had an impact on me. But yeah, I wrote in this letter, and it was the first chance I really think I understood how much I enjoyed being of service, how much I really enjoyed inspiring someone and communicating, and the first time I understood what this platform is that you have when people look to you.
But
It's not Craig
you wrote
Matthews.
back and said, hey, it's worth it, stick around.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, life is precious, and there's always
he?
He wrote me a letter back a couple of months ago and said, thanks to you, I'm,
A couple of months later.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I say?
Ago, which would be weird.
Couple of yeah. On all.
But he stuck around. That's great.
He stuck around. Yeah, he wrote a letter and just said thank you very much, and he's
Yeah.
in some seeing someone and thank you, and it was really made a massive impact on me.
Yeah, it would have. This
Yeah.
is the whole point of it. And we all get very strung out on red carpets and dumb shit. And
Angles.
it's like angles. But what we need to be
Yeah.
remembering at all times is that it's about that.
Is that why you got into it? Why acting then? What was the thing that you went, I'm going to commit to like doing it for, longer than 6 months and longer than whatever it takes. What's the thing that
I don't know.
what's the purpose in it?
Well, for me,
For
it is
you?
that. It's communication.
Yeah.
There was I think it's a Caesar Cruz quote, which is art is made to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed.
Ooh,
And that's my favorite.
I
So
love that.
whatever that comes out as, if you're feeling really fine and then something knocks you around, then you've got something to think about for a
Yeah.
minute. Or if you're feeling really knocked around and something centers you and you feel better again. Like that's the whole point of it for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just what I happened to be good at. Like in
Doing
growing
what
up,
you love.
well, just growing up, I didn't seem to get rave reviews for my math tests, or no one clapped when I did an essay. Acting was the only time that I felt like I was excelling in something,
Yeah.
and it felt good.
Yeah.
If I was excelling at it, but vomiting afterwards, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. But
Right.
but I genuinely feel a relief sometimes, and it's like meditative when I'm
Yeah.
in a good place and with a character I know. I can have no thoughts that are my own between
right.
action and cut, and that's
Exciting.
like chasing a dragon.
my
Like
God.
it's exciting, but also I didn't get A's in maths. No one clapped after I did an English essay. It was just anytime I seemed to do any acting,
Yeah.
people in teaching positions
Yeah.
would kind of sit up and go, "Oh, that's good." And so it's just about, I'm a middle child. All I want is approval
Sure.
and to be seen. So it was like, a little a dog in the sun just soaking up that approval.
Absolutely.
And so I just followed that. And I don't know, I never had a plan B. I mean,
Yeah.
there was that jazz thing I talked about.
Yeah.
But
But it's always Skadadabab.
Missed opportunity.
Boom, 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 boom. Right?
Yeah, I was obsessed with this group called The Idea of North. Do we know them?
No.
They're a 4-person a cappella group
No idea.
in Australia. Oh my God. I was like a Dungeons and Dragons nerd for their...
these people.
Oh my God. I knew every part of the 4. Like, I watched... They toured Townsville, thank goodness, a couple of times. They were from Brisbane as well. And I think that's really what made me get so into it.
Then you like, what are they called? Heptronics or?
Oh yeah. Look,
That's different,
the
right?
a cappella crews since kind of Glee came out, they're way too trendy. I'm like the daggy Manhattan Transfer
Ooh,
kid.
Manhattan
Yeah.
Transfer.
Yeah, that's my jam. Not kind of, I don't know, Miley Cyrus in 10 parts. I don't care. That's not my jam.
What's that song that I play you?
He loves pop. My husband is. Oh God.
Buna
What?
buna bump.
Say it again.
We're gonna need more than that, hun. What's he doing?
I play it all the time. It's the guy on a piano.
So-
I didn't listen to music until I was 16.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Hey?
Mum never let him listen to music. It was from the devil.
I can't.
Yeah. That's the whole other
I mean, if we had a camera on you.
Which is why this is his thing. If he's all hot and sweaty now talking about music. He's like, oh shit.
Four-man a cappella.
Oh. Human
song.
Nature.
No.
Oh, yeah.
They're like an obscure group, but they do a
Oh.
very famous Billy Joel.
Song, yeah.
Oh.
For the longest time.
Yeah. Oh, for the longest
time.
time.
Yeah, you go.
I love
Yeah,
that song
so
so
that's a
much.
Great song.
Old. Well, it seems old a cappella. Like, barbershop quartet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
I'm like
Yeah.
gooey for barbershop.
For sure.
And like, oh, you're so excited, Will.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous because if I don't know it,
Oh, yeah. That's like me in maths.
That's your maths thing.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that. I just got to know Will better.
He's
see that?
so cute.
Little chink in the armor. Just
Yeah.
see that? Bloop.
So this is how,
My me came out.
yeah, mind the me, get all over you.
Oops.
So this is how Will and I are.
Yeah, it's great.
Is this anything similar to how you and Patty are when you're Patrick Bramall, who is a wonderful creature, who's coming on the show actually.
Yeah, he will. He actually will.
He's going to do it.
Yeah, it's not like he will. Oh God, I just signed him up. No, he's up for it. Yeah.
What is that like? With another actor, sometimes you've got long distance happening.
A lot of that.
He's in a show in Australia, and now here, and you're there, and you're here. And what is that all about? What's that like?
It is the pros far outweigh the cons.
Yes.
You know, in the last 12 months, I have been in LA for 3.
This is where you live now. This is your
And
home.
this is
you
my
moved
home.
here 2 years
yeah,
ago.
I moved here 2 years ago, and you know, I have a car here now, and health insurance, and a dog, and a boyfriend.
What?
So to only be here for a quarter of it is tricky, and that's like spread out, like 6 weeks here. You know, it's. But right now,
Yeah.
I don't have anything coming up. He's got something coming up in New York, but it feels so nice to be able to.
Yeah.
Like I might plant something. You know, I might buy some nice spices.
Yeah.
Paint a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, get a rug.
Nest a little.
Yeah. So, but no, it's excellent. It is a very good, respectful, fun. It's a really good union. There's always something that we're learning either individually or together. I don't know. I can count on him. It's a good feeling.
People always talk about opposites attract. And in the successful relationship that I'm having, I find that we are so similar in so many ways. And the opposites that I've had before have been a complete fucking disaster.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the new normal now, to find someone who has your same interests, and we're always together. Because I don't have anything coming up. But
hanging out a lot.
We do, and we work together a lot. We create together a lot. But I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Giggling a lot too.
Yeah, always laughter, because if one of you ends up in a wheelchair or both of you are in a wheelchair, you want to know you can sit and look at the ocean together and
You can
just
eat
laugh.
soup or not.
Just laugh. Like, as soon as I see a couple laughing together, I think, oh, good, they're fine.
We're good, yeah.
When you see people that aren't laughing, I think, well, maybe you will stay together forever, but how's it going to be?
Those couples who go to dinner, we sometimes do that, and we're like, they haven't said a word to each other
Oh
in
my
about half an hour.
goodness. Paddy
Just
has to
sitting
stop me
there.
looking at them. He was like, Harry, you're staring. These people are just obsessed with the wine list or their phone because there's something,
And
I don't
they
know.
don't speak.
Yeah. Look, I think I said that to Pat once. We're at a restaurant and there was this old couple near us. They were not old, they were older. And
At
I
least
said,
in their 40s.
I know, that's Pat's in his 40s. They're in like their 60s. And they weren't saying anything.
Oh.
And on another day, I might have seen that as beautiful as well, because you
Right.
do need to be comfortable
Sure.
to not say anything. And I think I was in a bit of a spicy mood, and I said something like, oh, look at that. That's my idea of hell. And he said something like, oh, looks quite nice. Oh, looks quite nice to me. And I thought, oh, yeah, you dickhead. Like, that's quite nice. It's whatever floats your boat.
For sure.
I mean, they probably picked each other, that couple,
yeah.
because they can do this
60
together.
years ago.
Yeah, because they have the same. It's all about
Sure.
values, I reckon.
Yeah.
And that's the same of friendships. You know, if you share 2 out of 3 main values with someone, you're going to be fine. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're.
The fundamentals have to be there, though.
Absolutely.
If you've got these moral bloody opposite compasses, it's just
Yeah.
not.
There are many things, though, that Pat and I are opposite at.
Uh-huh.
You know, he is an extrovert and I'm not. He does get energy from people.
Yeah.
And on the way to an event or a party, I go on like standby. I just stop talking, right? Same with you.
So you're my husband and I'm your boyfriend.
Yeah.
I have to prepare.
You have to think, who's there? What's this girlfriend's name? Okay. Why did I wear this? What am I doing? Okay, the Uber. Why did he take Gower? Like, I think about I would get obsessed with the route. And then it took Pat a while to get used to it. And now he knows that I'm just loading.
Do you need talking through it in any way, like a support?
Like,
No,
I'm not.
You're good.
I'm not actually anxious.
Right.
I just need to charge up.
I got you.
I just don't have anything in my pot unless I do.
Huh. So what, you get that from other people when you're there, or you have to actually work
I think
yourself
I
up
give
to a
it.
spot?
No, like I think I've worked out that I need alone time. I don't think I knew how to do that, in my early 20s or
Right.
mid 20s. I've worked out that
Recharge.
it's really good to just be alone for Harry, and then I have so much more to give.
Yeah.
And I don't resent anybody when I take that time, because if I keep giving, I just start resenting people, and
Yeah.
that's an ugly personality trait.
What do you do in your alone time? What do you do to recharge then?
I pat my dog.
What floats your boat?
What floats my boat? I like to pat Walter.
Ugh,
He's
Walter.
quite calming, and I really enjoy how much he doesn't really want to be patted. Like he's a cat. He goes, "Okay, thank you. You've had your time."
The audience knows Walter.
Do they?
Walter was here when Virginia Gay was
Get
interviewed.
out, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he came and sat here.
She is his fairy godmother. Like he loves her maybe more than us.
No.
It's kind of confronting. Like Pat and I, if we if she takes care of him for us when we're away, she'll send us videos of her patting him, and he looks like he's on ecstasy. And we go, he doesn't look like that with us. Like,
Oh,
he
that's
loves her.
gutting.
It is gutting. Thank you. Anyway, so in my alone time, I pat my dog who hates me.
State.
Honestly, I've taught him the word please. Like I go, "Can I have a cuddle?" And he goes, "Can I have a cuddle?" I go, "Please," and then he'll jump up and just kind of like look away, and he's just like putting up with it.
Oh no.
It's heartbreaking. Anyway, I also play the ukulele and read books. That's how I spend my alone time. Or I kind of start a puzzle that ultimately will piss Pat off in 3.5 weeks because it's still on the dining table. That's me.
I admire that so much. I cannot. I think my personality is such that I always have to be doing things that are projects.
Oh.
And so reading a book, which I would love to do, I can't
Can't do
help
it.
but feel a kind of loathsome at my lazy.
Oh.
And it comes from my dad,
Of course it does.
because he's a fucking workaholic.
Has to
Like,
come from somewhere.
He's 80 and he still runs a business and goes to work 7 days a week.
What a legend.
Yeah, the whole...
You need those people though.
but
without
I can't
those
find
people-
the mid. I can't find the mid.
Yeah.
Because he likes to draw pictures, my husband I'm pointing to.
That's cute.
And I go, what about...
Meister.
What about...
Yeah, wow.
So,
But have you, in the 10 years you've been together
yeah.
or known each other, have you learned a little bit of something?
He just stopped drawing.
Because you just said that you're very alike, right?
Yeah.
But here we are in
Yeah.
the same chasm that Pat and I are in. Like, he's a bit more of a workaholic as well. I kind of despise a task. I'm very good at being horizontal.
Interesting. But you love it. You can get really content in that moment.
Mhm.
Unless
I'm
I'm
like a
camping.
House cat.
I admire that, actually. I think that's necessary for...
Well, it means you don't do your fucking tax, do ya? It means
But
you
there's people
avoid
for that.
opening letters that say, SAG is going to kick you off your health plan if you don't call or pay or do something, woman.
right.
You know, like I could,
Sure.
everything. The
Right.
grass is greener.
Of course, always, always.
Mhm.
It's the moderation thing again, isn't it?
Maybe drink less coffee. Do you drink coffee?
1 cup a morning.
Okay, good.
I'm the coffee drinker.
Okay.
But I could cut that
We
down.
did- we just, we're doing a therapy.
We're in therapy. I want to talk to you about that.
Yeah, and
Together?
she was-
Together.
Yeah, and
Wow.
she did open our eyes to go, listen, whatever that mode of operation is for
Yeah.
the person, if they're doing something that enriches their personal
Happiness.
Yeah.
happiness, then that's useful, no matter whether you think it's a
Yeah.
constructive task or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all adding to, so
That's it.
you just let each other do their version.
Yes.
I always thought therapy was silly when I was in Australia.
Yeah,
and
I'm
looked
new
at
to it as
America.
well.
Right?
Yeah, very new.
So we've been converted since
Mhm.
moving to America. Suddenly I realized the value, because I always thought, those Americans,
Yeah.
always in therapy. What do you need to talk about it for?
Yeah. I
But-
didn't know what I'd have to talk about. But then, you know,
Why did you go?
shit adds up.
It really does. And the way that you deal with it, and the way that you communicate it, and the way you share
Yeah.
it is thwarted.
I don't know I don't think there was one moment. Like I went thinking I was going to deal with something, and then other things popped up that seemed even more important.
Yeah.
You know, namely, I realized how loud the voice in my head is that's telling me I'm not great, and that is my therapist, this was our first session, and I've had 6. Like, I'm a baby at this.
Yeah.
But she said, oh, well, we can totally work on that. Because she said, what's your goal? I said, I'd really love that voice to stop, actually. You know, the one that tells me I'm shit.
That's a human condition.
Right? Bipolar.
That's a human condition is to have the voice.
The human condition. I thought you were like, that's a condition. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that too.
But mine is so mean. And it stresses me out.
Yes.
But she said something quite amazing. She goes, well, that's easy. We can totally work on that. That's an achievable goal. And I went, is it? How?
And
Why?
what's her replacement?
And she said, because that voice, just so you know, like, it was 57 minutes in, it was time to go. And she goes, that's not you. I said, so what? And she went, if you can hear it, it's not you.
Yes.
And that was like the medium that talked to me. Like, my brain fell out my ears.
Right.
And I walked out and kind of went, I felt light for the first time in a while.
Because you can change the dialogue.
That's right. And I am me, and I'm also the little Harriet in the back of my head that's listening to this
Yes.
nonsense.
Yeah.
And she like recommended a book, which was quite good, and that's called The Soul Untethered.
Oh, yes. I have that.
She was like, this is for you.
I love that.
So I haven't finished reading it. I've
Yeah.
done like 2 chapters. Cause
Yeah.
you know.
I'm at the same place in that you are.
Right? It's good. The first chapter you go, oh, God, got it.
Yeah, great.
And it has gotten better, I got to say. It did help.
Yeah,
At
it
least
really
knowing
does.
that it wasn't me.
What a powerful... This is the stuff that should be taught in school.
Yes.
This the power to understand that if you can hear that little voice means that if there's like there's 3 of you, well, not 3 of you, but there's you and there's the voice that you're used to, the one that you don't even understand, that you have been listening to for so long that it's almost it's so silent.
Yeah.
Once you pay attention to it.
But it's really loud when your skirt doesn't fit. You know, it's really loud
Super
when
loud.
you're like sweating, waiting for the
Subway.
publicist to know who you are at a dumb event at the Chateau Marmont. Like, it's really loud then.
Yeah, red carpet's super late. It's like, how's the crowd in your head?
Oh my God, it's bigger than
Big banana.
It's pretty interesting.
To think that you can actually hear that and go, wait, what was that set of 5 words I said? And then go, I'm going to choose to replace it with this set of 5 words. And the energy
or
around
just
it's
kind of
totally
go,
different.
I acknowledge you and I don't care for you.
I have to change it. I have to actually make an action to change the words
Okay.
to something positive.
Because the
This
voice
is-
will always be there?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the statement that we were talking about before, like to actually say something out loud, right? I find it very helpful for me to actually, and I don't adhere to this as often as I possibly 100% should, but to actually change the word or to change the dialogue to something positive and say
Wow.
that.
Do you say it like verbally out loud?
Yes, to myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to myself. And I find the energy, like Abraham Hicks is a lovely, wonderful woman who channels, well, her name's Esther, but she channels this being Abraham.
Okay, this is pretty woo-woo now.
I'm a woo-woo girl.
Great.
I'm totes into
I got that
woo-woo.
from the mandala on the table.
Amazon, babe. Amazon.
It's great.
To reframe the statement, rephrase the statement, and
Yeah.
say it. And it's almost like acting lines. Say it like the Chekhov. You'd say it enough times until it connects with your inner soul and the energy
Yeah.
underneath you. Suddenly the energy is totally shifted and also transforms it from being the habit.
Right.
It can be a new
You can take it and
new
go,
trigger.
hey, this thing that normally just plays alongside my life, I
Yeah,
can
because
change
I'm
it.
done with that shit.
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to get done with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but therapy's been very good for us in that way.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it. I'm kind of like an annoying poster child for it now. And I have to really check myself. When I'm home with my family or if there's a problem with the person I know, I kind of go,
My
I'm not going to
therapist-
say this once, but maybe think about getting a psychologist. Or and they're like, yeah, cool, got it.
Great.
Someone's had 5 sessions.
Now you're woo-woo.
Yeah, no, I'm woo-woo.
You are... obviously, we've gone through the feature films. We've gone through all the success you've had on television, the stage.
Face. I
It
just like
makes sense.
pulled a weird face
Did
when you
ya?
started talking about things again.
Oh, there she is, the Harri.
Yeah.
But you're writing,
Yeah, I just started that.
and so is this another thing where I need to be annoyed? Because you've just started writing. She's already in development and she has funding
For what TV?
for TV shows.
Yes.
This is how wonderful
Yes,
she
Your
is.
Honour.
Tell us all about it.
The writing thing came out of a very quiet. It was maybe at 3 months I'd been in LA, and it was December, and I just didn't know what to do. And Pat and I had been throwing around this idea of this romantic comedy TV show that we thought would be funny for both of us to be in Australia. And we had kind of a basic premise, which I won't go into, but I hired a little desk at Charlie's at Australians in Film, just on Melrose there, off Melrose, and I was just I bought myself Final Cut Pro. Oh no, what is it called? Final Draft. Draft. There was a Thanksgiving sale. It was like 50% off.
Oh.
And I bought it, and I didn't know how to use the actual software, so I spent the first half of the day trying to work out how to make a title page.
Sure.
But then I was kind of taken with how exhilarating I found it, and how easily dialogue came.
Wow.
And I finished it in a couple of days, this maybe 28-page pilot, and I was so nervous, but I showed it to Pat, and he has written things and been he's good at writing, and he put it down and he said that it was great, and not just being a good boyfriend, he kind of said that we were onto something. And so then I put it in a drawer and just forgot about it.
Great.
And then I had to submit a writing sample to Stan in Australia, the streaming platform, because I wanted to be in the writer's room of season 2 of The Other Guy. I felt like I had things to contribute to the characters and the world, because I knew it really well.
Yeah.
And just to make sure that I wasn't a total loser,
Sure.
they asked for a writing sample. I thought, I don't have anything. I'm like, oh my God, I had that thing I wrote. And so I sent that forward, and then they went, great, you're in. And then one of the guys who worked at Stan, who is now a producer elsewhere, kind of started hassling me, and he's like, what are you doing with that script, Harri? I was like, nothing, why? Shut up. And he was like, well, I want to make it. So now we're kind of making it.
This is what I mean about it's remarkable.
I'm annoying.
It's just you are. I mean,
No, it's not a perfect script, and I'm not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You've got this magic about you.
Help.
This is part of the magic too. It's just it's lovely to me. I'm so excited that it's all happening for you in this really organic way.
Thank you.
What an inspiration that is, to have other people be able to look and go, if I just let go and just be authentic and be true and be me and take the time to find that thing that is my creative outlet that makes me happy.
Yeah.
It makes me
And
double.
you've got to find your point of difference as well, I think, always. I felt a little bit square peg, round hole when I came here.
Yes.
And I think you should never, I think Oprah said, never trade authenticity for approval.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's really valuable.
Yes.
Because this town can make you feel like you need to fit into some sort of mold. This town can really drive you a bit mental in terms of, even this, I was like, oh, I've got to go and get a blow dry. I didn't know there'd be cameras. And then I thought, no, fuck it, Harriet. Practice what you preach. If you want to just be you, just be you.
Yeah.
I have
love
to
that.
keep reminding myself to be authentic, and that, I am enough, because I feel like anytime I do that, good things happen.
I'm going to get it tattooed.
What are you getting tattooed?
I'm enough.
It's a good one, that. I mean, that's a daily mantra that,
Writing it on the mirror.
it takes a long
nice.
time to work that out. And I'm not across it.
Right.
When I say it, it's for me too.
Of course.
But I've always found that anytime I've tried to not be me, it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So I just have to keep trying to find that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
But
they will push you. They will, you'll go and get a certain, I've had experiences in that where you get a certain way and then someone just walks in and they're like, why don't you wear something else? Why don't you get a haircut? Why don't you? And you're already halfway through the process and suddenly you end up on, the 9th audition and you're like, what the fuck am I wearing? What is this haircut?
Yeah.
It's worth remembering all the time. Do not sacrifice that, like you said.
Yeah, you just have to keep choosing yourself over
Yeah.
something, some version of you. I remember my very first, I think my first commercial casting in Sydney after I signed with IGM. One of the agents there, she said, "Oh, your eyes go down a little bit on the edges.
Oh, God.
So you'll need to get some individual lashes and pop those on before casting to really open up your eyes." And of course I did. I ran out to Amcal or whatever and I bought individual lashes. And when I was practicing my 3 lines for the KFC casting, I was trying so fucking desperately to put these lashes on, but they're like tweezers and I'm shaking and there's glue falling on my face and I just threw them in the bin and looked at myself and went, I don't need them.
Yep.
I don't know why she said that. She's trying to help me, but I'm going to say no to that piece of advice.
That's
and then I
good.
got the casting.
That's good advice.
And I thought, great. I don't ever need to change that.
That's
That
the
is-
mantra.
Yeah. And it's, I think people are interested in authenticity.
Absolutely. Now more than ever.
Yeah, because
Now more than ever.
because there's these kind of fembot women on Instagram that we think
Yeah.
we need to
Yeah.
look like.
Oh, it's a
Hmm.
worry, isn't it? That's
It
your
is. I would hate
superpower
to
then.
have like a teenager right now. That
Oof.
stresses me out. I kind of keep looking at my dog and going, maybe that's enough,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the conversation we're having.
right?
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Oh, teenage girl. I mean, even a teenage boy, everyone's got their own very tough roads to try and hoe a path in these days, it seems. It just gets harder and harder.
Yeah, and the world is evolving. Technology is evolving faster than our brains can.
Oh, God. Yeah.
You know, we don't. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we didn't know what it was like to just sit and scroll Instagram and have this thing that just feeds you, I don't know, 60 images in 4 minutes or something, and they all mean something, and they're all your friends, and it's babies, and it's holidays in Paris, and it's yoga poses. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you have to take yourself out of it. I just delete it
Yeah.
for a week, and then I come back.
Do you really?
I have to. Do you know, once actually I was so kind of toxic in my head, and I was, I don't know, comparing myself to people at one particular time. I was in a bad
Yeah.
place, and I deleted all the social media on my phone, and 5 days later I just felt very or maybe a week later, I don't know, I was connecting to people. Like at the shops, I was like, how are you?
Yes.
I felt more up for people because I
Yeah.
wasn't annoyed at them all and sick
Right.
of them all. And then I walked past this man, and I was walking my dog, and he said, "Oh, your top 3 chakras are really, really glowing right now." And I don't know much about chakras.
step
in Right?
and they tell you this.
And I said, "Oh, are they?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, really up here."
Uh-huh.
And then I said, "Oh, thank you." And he goes, "Not so much with the social media, huh?" And I went, "Well, sir,
Nailed
I'm
it.
currently off it." And he goes, "I
Nailed
can
it.
tell, and it's a good thing for you."
Interesting.
And I said, "Okay, thank you." And then he walked away. Why did he bring up social media when I just happened to be feeling really pleasant away from it?
Wow.
So I think it's really important. We charge our phones, we go on diets, we do all this dumb stuff, but we need to also take ourselves out of that
Right.
roulette that just... It is like roulette. You open your phone, will you feel bad about your
Ugh.
friend who's pregnant for the second time? Will you feel bad about that
Yeah.
person's abs? Will you feel bad about that person's holiday? Like, it's
Yeah.
a roulette of what I might feel bad about.
That's right.
That's how it is for me sometimes.
Yeah. That's why we camp.
Camping sounds good.
It's like
I love camping so much.
You quit it.
fan interaction with Facebook, and it becomes kind of, it divides.
Facebook I find is helpful for my fam.
Yeah.
Yeah, phone calls are probably better.
I don't even know what the fuck Twitter's about. I've avoided that completely.
Twitter I enjoy because it's like a newspaper.
Yep.
I read it like a newspaper.
Yeah.
I only follow things that are telling me what happened in the world. Or there's this one thing I follow called Kids Write Jokes. It's stuff like, what did the robot say? I'm you now. Like, it's kids write these dumb, funny jokes that kind of like surpass you. You go, whoa.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't mind Twitter. Twitter can stay.
Twitter can stay?
Yeah.
All right. True.
It's strange rules out there. Like, if we're at a bar, I say something, you say something. I say something, you say something. And then online it's like, I say lots of mean things. And then I wait.
Right.
It's like, it's weird. There's this, like, the rhythm is all out.
Ugh,
I just heard you say something. I think I should come over and talk to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
horrible shit too. Just horrible stuff that people feel it's okay to say when they're not actually looking at somebody's face.
But isn't that the another benefit of dogs? Like, you just put down the phone and go,
I think there is
hello, little sparrow.
endless benefit to
Yeah.
dogs. I adore them. They do not live to 60 though, which really doesn't make me happy. That really breaks my heart.
Yeah.
What doesn't break my heart is a long chat with you.
Thank you.
You can follow along, obviously, on the links in the bios and stuff that we got down below, so you can really keep in touch with Harri, lovely Harri,
Yeah.
and find out where all her next enchanted journeys take her, somewhere delightful and extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Instagram.
If I don't write back for a week, I'm having a chakra week.
Oh, wicked! Stay extraordinary, extraordinaires. Much love. Thanks for joining us.
It's
Have a
my
great
pleasure.
Extraordinary.